What's up, everybody? This is Justin Swinney, owner of Champ 24/7 Gym and Swinney Nutrition. Today I've got you a video for hip mobility and flexibility. It's what I call my Fierce 15. The brief history on the Fierce 15: it was originally developed for one of my program clients. That's a person who comes in to my office and sees me once every 4 to 8 weeks, and I do a complete workout program, nutrition program, supplement program. And this guy particularly had pretty bad hips. Not only did he have pretty bad hips, but for the next 4 to 8 weeks of his program, he was going to be traveling 5 days a week. So, in fear that his hips would get worse, we decided to be proactive, and I told him I would make him something that would take around 20 to 30 minutes a day he could do extra to prevent his hips from getting any worse and possibly make them way better. When this client came back 6 weeks later for his assessment and evaluation, I was astonished at the results. This was the first client that I'd ever had spend that much time on fixing the flexibility and mobility of their hips that wasn't a high-level collegiate or professional athlete or a special operations military guy. This was a normal person, an engineer with a normal job that literally put 20 to 30 minutes a day into fixing his hips. And the results were incredible. Now, I know some of you are watching this and thinking, man, Justin's crazy. There's no way I'm doing 15 exercises on my hips every day, and I don't have time to do that, and I'm not taking time to do that. Now listen, I'm not telling you to do that. I told you a client that I had who already had bad hips, who needed to improve his hips, who wanted to improve his hips. He did all 15 of these every day for 6 weeks and got drastic improvements. Now, if you've already got good hips, chances are you don't need all of these exercises. Realize some of these are redundant. There's a couple different variations of a deep squat hold, a hip flexor stretch, an external rotator stretch. So what I would do is, if I was you, I would kind of prioritize and see which one of these exercises feels the best and seems like it helps you the most. Now, there's something you need to remember. There's a difference between mobility and flexibility. Mobility, consider that more active, while flexibility, you consider that more passive. So these little stretches you see me doing here, these are some of my favorite. So I'll put the band around my knees, get up on the wall, do a deep squat up against the wall, pry my knees out, open up my hips a little bit, and then I'll go into my ankle across the knee and get a little bit of glute piriformis, hips, all my external rotators. That feels great. And I save time by doing those two stretches back to back. Then I get off the wall and I roll right in to what I call a frog stretch. Some people call it a super frog. Not all these exercises had to be done every day. But if you wanted to perform a trifecta, 3 exercises a day for your hips, you could do this banded one. Do the wall stretch, the external rotator stretch, the frog stretch. You spend a couple minutes in each position and your hips will feel better. You're going to see results. Now this here, what I call my hip trifecta, I do this every single day. I do it at home on my bed or on the couch or on a chair in my office or out in the gym on a bench. This one literally can be done anywhere, and it makes a huge difference. I always feel way better after I do this little hip trifecta. Now, we always like to do a little bit of movement with our mobility. There's a few things I like to do that keeps my back and my hips loose. This is one of my favorites. It takes me a while to get my lower back to loosen up where I can get further over. But just the roll over to a V-sit, you could literally do that anywhere, make your hips feel better. And then the fire hydrants or the quadrupled hip circles. These feel great. They will burn. That's why after these I always go into what I call the iron cross or the T-rocks, because once I do the hip circles, my hips are on fire. And this is the iron cross. Nice little stretch. You just move over. Sometimes we call them T-rocks. And then I'll go from that into something like a mountain climber or a strider. And then you can always add a reach for a little thoracic spine or whatever extra mobility you want to do. And I got to watch myself or I'm going to make this video 2 hours long. But there's about 15 exercises for you. Give them a try. See how your hips feel. And let me know how it goes. All right, guys. Thanks.